And we are live. Welcome, everyone. My fellow stackers, great to see you here. And thank you for joining me tonight for Mastering Metals, episode 19. And before we get going, what do you think of the silver and gold on the desk there? Do you like those? Anything jump out at you? Let me know in the chat what you like right there on the desktop at Yankee Studio. Are you ready for some fun, guys? Are you ready to learn, to become a better stacker, to master your metals? Are you ready to get pumped over silver and gold? Well, you came to the right place. I'm Yankee, your podcast host, and I'm joined by two wonderful guests, Chase Turner, the CEO of SD Bullion, and James Anderson, the senior market analyst for SD Bullion. Before I bring him in, I'm looking right now at the chat. Just want to see the Britannia, the Buffalo. Okay, you like the 24 karat? Yep. Eagle Stacker is nice. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit in a bit about the Eagle Stacker and what Mrs. Yankee said when she saw it. I love gold, says James. All right. Yep. I love silver because I can still afford it. Yep. I can afford it too. That's one of the reasons why I love it. The gold buffalo, the chunky buffalo. Gold, 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 all of them. Oh, we got a Libertad. Yes. Gold, or a Libertard, as the guest at Tim's on today's video said. Eagle Stack. Hey, all right. Roaring Lion, Space Cowboy. I'm glad you said Roaring Lion. We're going to talk about the silver Roaring Lion in just a bit, but I think I've wasted enough time. It's time to bring in my guests. Hello, guys. Chase, James, welcome.
Hey, Yankee. Thanks for having us again.
Oh, I am so glad to have you back. As always, things happen every month between Mastering Metals episodes. Isn't that interesting? Big stuff.
Yeah, today was big.
Today was big. Yep. Yeah. And we're going to talk a lot about what happened this weekend and today. Chase, before we went live, you were saying, man, how fast the month goes by. Weren't we just doing Mastering Metals episode 18? It goes
Yep,
by
I know.
fast.
I know. Here we are.
Yes,
Here we are.
we're back. So let's.
I'm working on some things we were talking about
Oh,
before the show. So,
oh, you're working on some. Oh, you're working on
yeah,
something special for the viewers tonight.
yeah,
Those
trying to figure something out. Yeah,
only the people that are on live right now.
yeah, exactly. Yep, I'm working up something. We'll have it done. We'll get it
Okay,
done.
all right. 230 people in the chat. Aren't you guys lucky to be here? Something special's coming your way, courtesy of Chase. But let's bring up James here. The past weekend, we got news of a reversal. I guess you could call it a reversal with the whole Chinese tariff thing. Trump called it a total reset. He tweeted that out. He's being, very, very happy and excited and positive and saying it's a total reset now with the tariffs, total reset. And the markets reacted. So let's start James out with the first of our three segments, markets and macro. The dollar jumped, the stock market rose, metals dropped.
Right.
Why, James?
Well, the stock market is a pricing mechanism that happens real time. If you lower Chinese tariffs from 145 to 30, or China agrees to lower its tariffs from 125 to 10, that reprices things. So the bounce in the stock market occurs, and we saw a snapback rally. The dollar probably strengthened a bit. The gold sells off from the lack of pressure from all the stuff that's happened over the last few months with the tariff stuff.
Yep.
And we got a 90-day reprieve. And so, what happens in those 90 days? Hard to know. Of course, we're not omniscient, but my hunch is that this clash is not over with. We'll keep. There'll be more stuff to come. But in the meantime, I think we'll have possibly a good summer sell-off for people who are looking to stack. You basically got until August until there'll be new stuff that comes out, at least on the Chinese tariff and U.S. Negotiation front.
So that word reset, that's a hot button word there. Anytime you use the word reset, especially with us stackers, we think, dollar reset, gold reset. What did it? Was he really resetting expectations with tariffs? Was he really, giving up on the tariffs?
Yeah, it's hard to know. Precisely like who, when you watch them from afar, we were talking about it before we got on here about how China seems a little bit more calm and less. The problem is that the United States, we have to get revoted, in terms of presidents every 4 years. So they know that Trump has 3.5 years left. So what's the worst case? They probably could wait him out. They have an emperor, and they don't really have to worry about getting reelected. So, in that situation, they kind of have strength on their side in terms of their ability to wait it out. And so I think, it's one of those things where he can call it whatever he wants in terms of what this is. This is just a delay. It's a 90-day reprieve.
90-day reprieve, yeah.
Yeah. And so, so we could see a rally here for a while and an off-putting of gold and silver for a little bit, which would be good for people who are looking to stack a little bit more. You basically see some softer spot prices this summer.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like silver's downside is pretty minimal. The gold side, it does look like it has room to run. I've been waiting for this. I've been hoping that this would occur. So I'm looking to see, gold retest possibly. We got to see it break 3,200. And if that happens coming up soon, then the downside potential probably it's pretty good. So it could run back down towards 200-day even.
Yeah,
so
metals got obviously hammered. The dollar got strengthened, and again, those tend to be inversely correlated. But I just have to show the media just hammered on Donald. They're calling it capitulation day today. They're done. They're like, yeah, he gave up, and then even Fox said, Trump was forced. He had to back off. He caved. He gave in. It's it's like, wow, pretty harsh. And here's the deal. I wanted to bring this up to you guys at the risk of ruffling some MAGA feathers here in the chat. I voted for Trump. I'm not ashamed of that at all. I'm very happy with much of what he's done, but I call him as I see him sometimes. And when he was talking and tweeting and I heard Besant, and I'm like, it sounds like we're the desperate side. China is, like you were saying, they think they play the long game, and they seem to be a little less desperate. That concerned me because I remember when I read, The Art of the Deal. Trump made it very, very clear that the worst thing you can possibly do in a deal is seem desperate to make it. And I'm just concerned that he felt like he had to respond to market pressures. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, I mean, the potential of having empty store shelves by the time school starts again, that existed. So,
Yep.
and we'll see, it still kind of exists. I heard a lot of people worried about that. And who knows how much, when you have tariffs of 145%, I'm not sure anybody's been buying anything. So you may have some time here where it'll be hard to find some products. So yeah, did he cave? Did he not? Like, all this stuff is like spin zone. Who cares? I mean, the bottom line is we have a 90-day
Right.
reprieve, and the fundamentals are still there. Like, we still have a situation that we have record debt. We'll be 37 trillion soon. Our deficit this year fiscally will be over 2 trillion. All these crazy numbers. It used to be like, oh, we do like a $500 billion fiscal deficit, and that was out of control, right before the 2008 financial crisis.
Yep.
And people thought that was runaway. But now we're at 2 trillion, pretty soon it'll be 4 trillion. Like, you just give it some time, it'll get even more ridiculous. So we're heading toward a real problem in terms of the sovereign
debt,
confidence in our debt, and all the problems with our unfunded liabilities. Will people trust their debt? Will they want to buy our debt? Are we going to have to monetize our debt? And ultimately, I think that's where we're headed. So, this is a short-term reprieve, and I think people who are looking to get in that positions, this will be hopefully a nice sell-off for you to do so.
So you guys think this is a short-term, temporary spike in the dollar, pullback for gold and silver? And
gold just went on a tear. Gold has to consolidate. I mean, for it to run at 3,500 and then just go to 4,000.
Right.
Now you have to go down. If then people think, oh, okay, that was the top 3,500, and start having the bears feel like gold's going back to 2,600, 2,500, and they just have it revert and then just blow their face off in the second half of the year. So that's kind of typical.
So this is maybe a necessary, even desirable consolidation.
Oh yeah, you got to clean out the clutter. All these people came in, all these late to the party people, and that's what a bull market does. It has to climb the wall of worry, and you have to get people worried. We're not worried yet. Give me gold below 3,000. I want to see some worrying.
Yeah, and by the way, Yankee, you can see that in Google Trends. If you go look, you can see all the action around gold come up, and then it's just tailed off like drastic. We were looking today, just since the Liberation Day at the beginning of April,
right,
to last week, a 70% decrease in interest in the gold price on Google Trends. 70%.
Wow.
And what's that been? Just a little bit over a month. The extremity of everything in today is just ridiculous. How something can move 70% in a month like that. But you brought up an interesting point, James. I've never really thought about. It's like, well, we don't really have leverage over China. If China doesn't have to vote, they don't really care what their citizens think, right? Like, they can do whatever they want. So what leverage other than military do you really have over China in the long game? After 90 days, we're going to be in the same boat.
Right. Their social contract with their people is, we promise you that every 5-10 years your life is going to get better, quality of life, and that's more or less been that case for most people from the 1980s onward. And so unless that starts falling apart, I don't think they're going to get too worried. And they internally have a lot of control and power still over their citizenry. So, and I think that they've conditioned them to get ready for trouble. Like, for instance, if they take Taiwan physically, then they know that they're in more or less a proxy war already, and they have to get ready for hard times. And I think their people are kind of conditioned for that. And I don't think the United States citizenry wants to do anything like that.
We don't know what hard times is.
Not yet.
If your AC breaks, it's a hard time in the U.S.
Right.
First world problems. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. This is a great buying opportunity. And Chase, I wanted to highlight a few things around that because I've been buying up some stuff, and anytime I see a pullback like this, are you seeing people taking advantage of it?
So, like,
or not yet?
As I mentioned, as I mentioned, like, you can see the fall off and all the data that we have, right? Whether it's Google Trends or just impression count across the board for our industry,
Mm.
there's a pretty good size reduction. Like James said, a bunch of people came in. So you always have your like core people that's probably listening to this video. Most of the people listening to this video are probably core stackers, right? You
Right.
always have those people,
Mm.
and then the rest of it like boomerangs around, right? And so we're definitely seeing a fall off of demand across the board. We put that deal at the 90% junk deal at spot, which was the first time we've ever done something like that. And we did 5 face to try to make it even a more affordable entry point. I think it was around $127 or
That was a
something.
great deal, and I texted you and said, "Is that still going to be up by the time we go live?" And you were like, "Nope, done in the morning." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that
Yeah.
was a
It,
great deal."
it
Yes.
was cool, but you know, like I told you, like if we want to do something tonight for the viewers, like I've already got everything done in
What?
the back end where we can fire that sucker back up. You will have
Ooh.
to use a coupon code. That way, it's not open to the public. It's only open to Yankee stacking people. But yeah, that should be
Ah.
working now.
Now?
Uh, yeah,
Oh.
if I yeah,
Oh,
I got it going.
that's great. Yeah, hold off on what that code is yet.
Yeah. We
Don't
don't
give
want
it
to
to
go
me
there yet.
yet. But
But
that's
we
great.
will be going back to spot spot offer tonight. So
Oh, good.
yeah.
All right. Well, can I just show you some? I want to show everybody some of the deals on here, and I just want to give you my take on it. And you can, this is your site right across. I'm just going to show the scroll here. These 2025 Lucky Dragon bars. Wow.
Really cool. Huh? Yeah.
Oh, they're cool. Cast. You don't usually sell cast, but Scottsdale Mint stuff is beautiful.
Yeah, they started that last year, the
Yeah.
8.88 ounce little deal. Yep.
Now this, okay, it's on my desk right now. I got a whole tube of those. And let me tell you what the reaction by Mrs. Yankee was. So I open up the tube and I pull one out, and she's looking over just glances up from her iPad, looks over and says, "What are those?" She's never done that before. And it was to that chunky, beautiful. She's like, "Does that thing pop out like that? What's on the other side?" She's never interested in my silver, but she was with this. So that was a great buy.
I can't see your screen. Is that the Eagle Stacker?
Yeah, the 2-ounce Scottsdale
Yeah.
Mint Silver Eagle
It's
Stacker
cool.
round.
So when I got mine in, my kids started playing with them, and they were stacking them. And I took a video and I sent it to Josh Fair, the owner of Scottsdale. I said, "Look, so easy, a kid can figure it out." And I was like, "You should put that on social media."
That's a good one.
It was really cool to see them. They figured it out real quick. Like, oh, these are different than the other ones, Dad. These stack on each other. Yeah.
All right.
You know what's cool, by the way?
Yeah.
So that's the 2-ounce.
Mm-hmm.
I think we already have the 5-ounce for sale on the website. I can't remember. And they're also doing a 1-ounce, which they never did a 1-ounce Lion stacker, but we talked them into doing a 1-ounce Eagle stacker.
The original stacker.
Yeah, but they never did a 1-ounce. So they're going to make the Eagle in a 1-ounce stacker for us. So you have a 1-ounce, a 2-ounce, and a 5-ounce. And what's super cool is they all fit in the same tube. So you can literally do like 5-ounce, 1-ounce. Yeah. You can make your own stack however you want, and it'll fit in the tube. Isn't that cool?
That is cool. Yeah. Although my OCD,
so
I'd keep all the ones with ones and fives with fives and twos with
twos.
Yeah. But you don't have to, right? Well, that'd be fun to give to the kids. Here, stack them up the way you want. But I love the stacker. Now, look at this. This is the 1-ounce silver and gold Roaring Lion coin. This thing just came today, right? Didn't it just drop today?
Silver? Just this morning. And with gold down, I mean, the gold coin's a great price, very attractive price for a brand new coin. There's only 1,500 of them in the world, and it's struck by the Royal Mint. To my knowledge, it's the only coin that the Royal Mint does like this. It's not their own. So we got them to strike the True Series. So you can see it, like the gold one is really, really beautiful. So
I have mine right there.
Yeah.
I love the gold one. Yep. But the silver's great too. And that's the 1-ounce, right? You also have 5-ounce.
Yeah, we put the 5-ounce out first last week. We only have, I think, less than 80 of those left at this point. The 5-ounce, they sell really quickly because there's only 1,000 of them, and it's silver. They're individually numbered on the rim.
Yep.
And they come in a plastic airtight case. So yeah, the 5-ounce True Series is usually gone within the first week of launch. So I picked one up. I love the 5-ounce
Mhm.
versions.
How about this? The privy.
I
Oh,
just ran in
oh,
the inventory. There's only 14 of the 5-ounce left. At least
14.
yeah,
Oh
14.
boy, they might not last the night. All right. Might not
Corrected.
last the show. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the 2025. Okay, Eagle Privy. Everybody's talking about this. I don't usually do this. I don't, but what do you think? Should I, Chase? I mean, privy. I do have a few Eagles with special privies, but I don't have this one. is
What Eagles
beautiful.
do you have with special privies? Because these are the only 2 bullion ones that have ever struck with the
Oh,
privy
boy.
mark.
Well, I had the what was some of the other ones? No, there was the privy mark from World War II one. Wasn't there one with that?
Yeah, that must be a commemorative or something.
Oh,
So
so
this is
this
the
is just
first time
straight up
they've
bullion,
ever.
right?
Yeah, I think that's why it has so much craze around it. And I understand. I started in the stacking community. Like, actually, James is one of the first people that got me into this years and years ago with the company that he was with. And I was pretty much bullion. And
Right.
then once I got on the retail side of the industry and I hung around with the collectible people enough, you start to learn enough to go like, okay, there's something more here. And if you understand how it works, you can make a little margin game off of these things, right? So when you look at this, it's the first ever Silver Eagle coin. Bullion coin. We have customers write in saying this is not the first.
Yeah, because there was
Privy
there was the
bullion.
V75, right? The
Yeah, but that's
V75.
commemorative. It's
Oh,
not bullion.
and the star, there was a star, right? That also not bullion.
Star was a bullion, right? So there's a
Okay.
2 set. So the
Okay.
Star Privy.
Uh-huh.
If you click on the banner, it takes you to the category. So you have the Star Privy, and you have the Eagle Privy. So the Eagle Privy it's already more popular, but so just to give you a glimpse, like the Star Privy, we just found 2 more. Actually, I think it was like 5 or 6 70s, MS 70s. Put them up on the website, and they sold for $549, like that.
Wow.
People are going crazy for these. So why I say that? What I'm buying in this series is the NGC early release because we have a special deal that we signed last year with NGC where you buy these tubes, the tube of 20. I don't know if you can find it if you click on the banner, but you can hold these for as long as you want. You can send them off to grading, and we don't have the grading specs on these yet. The grading for the Star Privy was right around 20%, so 5 out of 20, right? Or 4 out of 20, I guess. And with grade 70s. I can't see your screen, but it's the NGC early release tube.
Oh, okay. Yep. NGC, yeah, I got it. Early release, NGC, early release eligible, 2025 Eagle Privy 1 ounce American Silver Eagle coin.
Yeah.
Mint
So you can
certified.
buy that tube. You can hold it for as long as you want. Ship it unsealed. Don't break the seal. Ship it to NGC.
Yeah.
Anything that grades out of that tube, they will designate an NGC early release. Now, I just told you from the coins that launched back in January, those 70s are already selling for $550 on the market.
Wow. So you're
So
like, yeah, you could play
my
the game.
personal
You might
playbook
get
is
one.
to buy
Yeah.
a couple tubes,
Yep.
hold them for a couple years,
Okay.
send them off to grading, and hopefully sell them for $800 a pop, right?
Regardless
So
of the price of the silver. Yes.
regardless, I mean,
wow.
so that's the way the collectible market works. This is the most rare struck, like new bullion Silver Eagle ever made. They're only making 500,000 of them, right? So on the collector side, for modern collectors, like these things are going to get more and more expensive. So if you're interested in buying something with a ton of premium upside, I would say guaranteed because we're not allowed to say that, but you're talking about the U.S. Mint here, and their stuff it just appreciates in time. So, yeah.
All right. Wow. It's exciting. And this is also a time where we're getting back to our original point. This is the buying opportunity when you see these dips. We're going to keep making these holes. And James, you don't think this is the beginning of a bear market or a turn in the market or anything, a giving up on the price. This is just a consolidation?
Yeah, I mean they haven't spent down the 37 trillion in debt that keeps ballooning, or the 2 trillion per year deficit that we're still running, that we have to run, or else we'll be in a depression economically. So nothing's changed in terms of the fundamentals.
No fundamental, right?
Yeah, you have to climb the wall of worry. Every time in a wall, like if you look at the price chart, gold over the last 5-10 years, I mean, it goes kind of jagged up, down, and we're just doing one. I mean, especially how sharply we ran up from 2,500 to 3,500 in a very sharp manner. So it makes sense that you would do a 50% retracement back to 3,000 and battle there for a little bit until you've proven yourself, and you use that as the next push off and move up to 4,000. Right? That'll be the next push. Will be get beyond 3.3's now the support, and then get beyond 3,500, then back toward 4,000.
4,000 gold, 40 silver. That's what I'm thinking. Still,
Yeah.
100 GSR.
I know. Well, they got below 100 today.
did.
And the silver downside to me, it still doesn't seem as I see gold falling faster than I would see silver. I can see the GSR falling in terms of to the mid 90s, just because silver, just the downside risk here is what, to 30, you know, 29. I mean, you saw how fast it shot back last time that occurred. So yeah, I just don't see much downside risk in terms of the silver side, because I know everyone's worried about some huge recession. I think that's just that's a talking point as to why silver has underperformed gold so recently, but I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case long term. I know Goldman Sachs had a report basically talking about the argument for gold and the GSR staying high for a while. We'll see. Talk to me in 6 to 8 months. Won't surprise me if it's shot back down.
Well, we'll talk to you next month, but I also want to highlight your Friday videos. If you haven't watched James' Friday videos, you are missing out. You need to subscribe to SD Bullion's YouTube channel and wait. I look forward to it with anticipation, and this one didn't let me down. It was great as usual. And I want to play a couple clips from the highlight of the outgoing CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett. He thinks we are in deep doo-doo when it comes to our currency, all right? And he spells it out in a couple ways. I just want to get your reaction and talk to you about it. So let's take a look at a couple clips here with Warren Buffett.
I'm not singling him out as particularly evil or anything like that, but the natural course of government is to make the currency worth less over time, and that's got important consequences. And it's very hard to build checks and balances into the system to keep that from happening. That game isn't over, and it never will be over, in finality.
All right, so he calls it the currency game. I think the game of governments making currency worthless over time is evil. I really do. He doesn't want to call it, I'm not saying it is evil. And I don't care if it's inflation at 2% or 1% or just inflating our currency instead of stable zero increase in inflation is evil, monetarily evil. So that's one thought I had.
He came borderline to saying that, right? It sounded like to me.
I don't want to say they're bad people.
Yeah.
Not saying that, but they're bad.
Yeah, I mean, that goes all the way back. Like fiat currency, Marco Polo literally went over. He was like the first Westerner to go and traverse across, the Asian continent to get to China. And when he got to China, his number one point was, you got to see these people. They're literally like creating these pretty pieces of paper and saying that they're worth silver or gold, and you have to use those, or else under like threat of killing you have to use that. That's the currency of the Mongolian Empire. So it comes from like a place of coercion, a place of violence, and that's always been the case with fiat currency. I mean, Warren Buffett, I think he knew the story from his dad about how important sound money was. And I think he saw the writing on the wall when sound money got ignored. And so Warren Buffett said, okay, well, we're going to use currency, and we're probably going to spend a lot more, and we're going to become a dominant empire. So why not bet on this empire? He made the right bet.
Yeah, I didn't know about his dad until I watched your video. That was interesting when you brought that up. One more clip.
Sure.
We've still had very substantial inflation in the United States, but it's never been runaway yet. And that's not something that you want to try and experiment with, because it feeds on itself. So I wouldn't want the job of trying to correct what's going on.
Yeah, we haven't seen runaway inflation yet. It's almost like he's getting out. He's 90,
Oh,
what, 94? He's got to get out at some point. But
definitely, he's peace out. He's basically saying like, we're doing some stuff. He did go on talk about how they did some trades just recently with Japan, and they have companies, I'm sure, that have moat. He always wants moat. He wants monopolistic power in terms of pricing power. And so I'm sure he has there's some large companies in Japan that pretty much have all market share.
Right.
So if you have a big, ownership stake in those companies, no matter what happens with the currency, they'll reset the currency, but that company will still sell because it's the market maker of all these products and services in that country. So I think he understands the game is to always have market, leverage in terms of, your saturation of a market. So you have price power, right? Not forced to compete. Like that's the last thing a businessman wants to do is to compete on price. and so that's basically what Warren Buffett's about.
You know what he completely ignored, though? In the comment on the first clip, he talked about checks and balances. He completely ignores the role of gold and silver as a way to keep a check and balance on our government, doesn't he?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's
Can't even talk about that.
That's why I highlighted in the video about how his father said, essentially, if you let this go, you're going to end up getting this ruling class of people who are benefiting from an unsound system. And to turn back to a sound system, they will fight it tooth and nail because they are benefiting and enriching themselves. And so Warren essentially became exactly what his father warned against, right? In a lot of ways. I mean, cool, you got 160 billion, but you can also say on your way out that our currency might go to hell, and you're going to give it away to a bunch of charities. I mean, that's nice, but like it would have been better if you had just fought like your father along the way and been a little bit more truthful about history and about how we should be not worried about so much enriching ourselves, but making sure our country doesn't fall apart because we did the wrong things.
Yep. And I saw Ellie, thank you for putting SD Billion's link. I think that's the link. Go to it, subscribe, make sure you watch the videos as they come up. Thanks, James. That's awesome. All right. Anything else you want to mention before we switch over to retirement insights? James, anything that happened this weekend or week that you think?
So I would really key on this week, 3,200 gold. If we see it go below 3,200, then that's the key right now. I mean, tomorrow, this week, it could happen. And if it goes below 3,200, the lows are coming, and we'll hit 3,000 again. I think we see it, and then maybe even below 3,000. This 90-day reprieve, that's when you'll see it.
If we can't hold at 3,200.
Yeah, and I'm guessing we won't. So I mean, it's okay to buy a little silver right now because I don't think silver's downsides much. But if you're thinking about putting a big gold buy, I would be a little bit patient. Don't be running at 31.50. I think it'll still go lower.
Silver staying above 30?
I do think so. I don't expect silver to go below 30. I mean, last time it was dramatic and it shot right back up.
Well, that will bring the GSR down because of gold.
I will nibble on silver all summer. I mean, as long as it's around 30s and nothing dramatic is happening, I don't expect it will, because I just feel like we're setting up for a situation where we get a kind of a slow summer where the prices kind of move downwards a little bit and sideways. Which is good because this will be the time where I get to call my brother and say, "Oh, you remember all those gold buffaloes you wanted to buy? All right, now's the time." That type of thing. Gives people a chance.
All right, I am going to set up the Ask Your Questions Q&A section here. And so now switch at your chat. You can switch from live chat or top chat, should be in live chat, but you can switch at the top over to questions and start putting in some questions for Chase and James. While you do that, Chase, I want to talk to you about 401ks and IRAs and your depository. Is it filled yet, your IRA depository? Is it maxed out?
Well, it's not.
You got room in there for me?
We're already adding more space.
That's right. You are expanding, aren't you?
Yeah, you'll see next time. I would tell you where it's at, but I can't tell you on mic. But when you hear how big it's expanded to, you'll.
Okay. It's exciting, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling, really.
Really? Oh, man, I can't wait to see it again. And I saw some questions rolling through the chat about the Yankee Tim round, and that's IRA approved. That's coming, right? It's coming.
Yes, it's definitely coming.
They keep asking, when is it coming? When is it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I told you, I found the task on it, so now I'll be asking about it every day.
Final design? Well, I think we're near the final design. Yeah. Very close. Yep.
Yep. Right. Another little modification maybe in the last email.
Really. Yeah, I had one little the AOK. I gotta have
Yeah.
my AOK on
Yeah.
on my side, right? So, but where to put it, right? So we're talking about that. All right, so that'll be fun. But I want to bring up the IRA sdbullion.com website right now. I'm going to scroll down here. There's Tyler. Scroll down little ways here and look at this section right here, this IRA comparison chart on the website. Could you briefly just walk through the 7 items here in the IRA comparison chart and talk to us about what makes it different? What makes SD Bullion different?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, your mic is starting to crackle. It was
Doing that again.
Yeah, it didn't up till now.
Yeah. Let me just do something real quick.
Okay.
Go in, back out. Did that help at all?
Yeah, it's better now, and you can jack the
Okay.
volume up if you need to, or just
Okay.
talk loud.
Yeah. I'll just come up loud. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to be brief with this stuff because the industry is just it's a total mess. Just to give you an example, last week my sales manager sent me a message and said, "Look, SD Bullion was featured in I can't remember what mainstream media, maybe it's CNBC or something article, and actually it was about retirement. And long story short, when you actually go to click on SD Bullion, they take you to like a third party window. First, it says like, are you sure you don't want to come visit this IRA house first? They got better
Whoa.
deals. Yeah. The whole gold and silver IRA 401k industry is a complete scam propped up by basically everybody who puts information online in a big way. And so that's what we're fighting against. And so,
Hmm.
but it's it's pretty simple the thing is they're really good at it, but it's really simple. If you just look at this IRA comparison chart and keep it handy,
Hmm.
because the worst thing that can happen is we talk about gold and silver retirement accounts tonight and you go, oh, that's really interesting. Let me go do some research, because you're going to get trapped in the web because they control the media. They control the online media. They control every media form that you can think about. And so this comparison chart was built to show people the difference between basically a legitimate IRA house
Hmm.
and everybody else, right? And you can see it there. I mean, transparent online pricing. Our prices are, they're online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Most fraudsters won't show you their price, or they'll show you one price, but if you want to buy more, you need to call for pricing, right? They don't want you to actually transact online. They want to get you on the phone so they can sell you something.
Hmm.
Most of these people, all there are sales offices. They don't own any inventory. They're just high volume. I would say not high volume. They're like high pressured salespeople. They certainly don't own their own depository. They're going out to third party depositories, and again, this is why Tyler and I shot that hour and a half long
Yeah.
podcast that we thought was going to be 15 minutes, because you could literally talk about this for hours, uh, just the depository side alone. But they're going to hard pressure sell you. They're going to always have a story. It's always going to come back to this special collectible, uh, fractional size. They're off size. They only make so many of these. You can't find them on the internet. There's a reason for that, because they don't want you to be able to price check. They're always going to have a story to sell you. Their guys are making high commissions. I'm talking significant
Yeah,
commissions,
they do,
to
don't
where,
they? Yeah.
if you have, on average, it's usually about 50%. So if you put, $100,000 in metal, you're only getting $50,000 worth of metal. And then pretty much they always have some paid celebrity spokesperson. Unfortunately, people that we kind of respect
Yeah, I know.
are on those lists. It's kind of crazy. And
A
then
lot
I
of
just have to go to bed at
podcasters.
night thinking that maybe these people don't really know what they're allowing their followers to get into. But
Hmm.
this comparison chart's really simple. You can run down the list and you can look at all the options out there and say, okay, which side of this check mark are we on? And if you're on the IRA phone dealer side, unfortunately, you're going to get scammed. That's just I got tired of just trying to beat around the bush, Yankee. And now we've been doing it for two,
You
3
were
years
very
now.
tactful about 2 years ago when we first
Very
started this,
tactful.
right? Very
I was
tactful.
just
I don't want to
yeah.
call them that. And now it's like, oh, they're a bunch of dirtbags.
Oh, we just the things that we have to see on a regular basis here now.
Mm.
how they're just hosing people. It's just disgusting, and I'm just tired of it, quite honestly.
Yep.
But again, it's just how the whole industry, every single piece of the industry, is propped up
Yep.
by these people because they make so much money off you. You know, if I sell you $1 million of metal, but only send you 500,000, I just made $500,000 off of you. At SD Boyne, to make $500,000 is a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And at these places, so they can afford to pay everybody off, and it's really sad and unfortunate because they took advantage of something great that we will talk about. The sunshine here, the rainbow here, is that you can put precious metals inside a retirement account, which is a great deal.
Physical precious metals,
Physical
physical,
precious
uh,
metals.
segregated, not a bunch of gold and silver that multiple people have claim to, and they hope and pray nobody actually wants to take ownership or take possession of it, because then they're really messed up. No, you have it segregated. So when I buy a Yankee Tim monster box or something and stick it in your depository,
That's exactly what will be under your retirement account.
it better be. And then when I come and I knock on the door and I walk in and you let me in, I hope, and then we go to that and I'm going to say, where does it say Yankee? I want to see Yankee, the barcode. I won't show it. I'll blur it out. It won't say Yankee, but I'll open it up and there's my monster
There's your-
box.
Yep. That's exactly what you
Mine.
bought. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And it is mine. And just because you're holding it for me, at least temporarily, I can't do it any other way without huge penalties. So if you have an existing IRA, this is for those people, right? To really protect themselves and get precious metals in a physical, tangible way that there's no way for you to actually get it, until you're 59 and a half, which I'm getting closer and closer to every day. But yeah, that this is for those type of scenarios. It's not to replace stacking and getting your own gold and silver in your own hands, but this is for those who have retirement accounts. And right now, they just want to keep you in the system. They want you to buy, equities and hypothecated assets and other types of paper or ETFs that are really not worth the paper they're written on. And hopefully you can sell it and make a profit. But if things really go sideways, there could be a great taking. There could be all kinds of stuff that happens that it becomes worthless, or it's not yours anymore. You don't have the rights to it.
Yeah, depending on your age, hopefully it's even there.
Exactly.
Um,
So trust
for
is
me, it's
important.
something I'm not worried about. Yeah.
Trust is important. I trust your depository. I trust the security. I trust what you have, and I trust that it's mine when I put my hard-earned money into your IRA. If you're interested in checking out an SD Bullion IRA, go to ira.sdbullion.com. Give them a call. Speak to Chase. No, it's bad. I shouldn't say that, right? No, you've got plenty of people working for you. I know, I'm getting you in trouble. Just ask for Chase. But no, you've got great team members that will help you out.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while now, so I don't know. There's too many things I will say that we haven't seen. I will say somebody sent me a message today about checkbook IRAs, right? And so, not only is it great to have physical precious metals in your IRA, but there's different mechanisms to do that, right? And you actually can gain a lot more control over your IRA than just gold and silver. And when you go through a checkbook IRA, which is actually the mechanism I use, it's even cleaner. It gives you so much control over your retirement account. It's a very simple way to take control of your retirement funds and disperse them however you want. And if you want to do it gold and silver, great. It's very easy to do. It's actually it's easier to do than your normal IRA because you don't have to have we're not going to get into the details of it, but I know you're familiar with it. It's my mechanism of choice. And so, there's a lot of power and control that you can have over your financial future by looking into these concepts, self-directed IRA, gold and silver IRA, and what they allow you to actually do instead of, throwing it in the stock market, hoping it's there in the future, hoping the great taking doesn't happen. transparently, of course, I have some money in stocks, but most of my money is outside of that, and not just physical gold and silver, but other physical assets
Good.
as well.
Very smart. I think physical is going to become the next, the generation, not my generation, but say my son's generation's go-to investments. If you own it and have it and you can touch it and it matters physically, it's going to be valuable. And a lot of the paper stuff that we consider valuable is going to become worthless. It might take 10, 20 years, who knows, but I think it's coming. And we're going to be very glad that we have our tangible assets, gold and silver. All right, I think we're ready for some Q&A. We got to get going on the Q&A because we're running out of time here. All right, let's switch over and questions. So I see one right here. What happened to the Fort Knox visit? Yeah, that's a really good question. James, do you have inside information on that?
Yeah, that's typical Trump, right? You flood the zone, you poke the bear, and you get everybody excited, and then it just move on to the next poking the bears. So
move on.
yeah,
Nothing to see
I mean,
here.
I was trying to suggest that wasn't going to happen as nicely as I could, because a lot of people want to see that happen, but I'm confident you're not going to see that happen.
Wow, it's not even going to be a show on it. Nothing.
No.
Just like, oh, here, look at nothing.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
What?
8,133 tons of gold is what the U.S. empire says it has, and you don't hear about gold until the U.S. empire says we're buying more gold. At some point, we may end up buying more gold, and that would be interesting to see that happen.
Best.
So that is definitely possible. Yeah.
I still think they're gonna have a hard time making it all go away and gaslighting us on this. I just
one thing you got to
think.
remember. I know that we think we're the gold king. We're not. The EU, if you collectively add up all their gold, and the European Union, they have now over 13,000 tons of gold. Poland just eclipsed 500 tons. I mean, they're a legit gold powerhouse. So I know a lot of people think the euro is just doesn't compete with the dollar.
Right.
I got news for you. It's going to compete with the dollar a lot, in the coming decades. So I know people think that, U.S. is a better market, but I don't think so. I think Europe is going to have a strong fight when it
But
comes
who
to
at this point though? Who would invest in the euro or who would invest in the European markets?
You wouldn't think, but wait till the washout occurs. Then I think at some point they're going to consolidate their banking system, and their people will just take whatever Christine Lagarde or whoever's in charge says, and then there'll be growth potential, because they've been stagnant for so long, and hopefully they'll cut away some of the regulations that they've had, and they'll start spending. Like Germany, for instance, they're spending a ton of money now. Finally, I would imagine Germany is going to have some growth potential coming up.
All right, so I have another question here, but I have a couple super chats that came in. And they always get bumped to the front of the line. All right, it's just the way it works. Ron Navy super chat at $10 says, "Did you realize how big the tariffs are on a good quality safe?" Yeah, he said he went to a local lock and safe company, and the safes had $700 tariffs on them.
Wow.
My suggestion with safes is if you shop around, you can find really nice safes secondary markets.
Yep.
So, take your time. You don't need to buy them brand new from China. You can find really good older safes here in the United States.
Mechanical.
Yeah,
mechanical and change the combo. Right.
Yeah, you can find them, and you just pay a little bit extra for the shipping and have them delivered. I mean, you can get them anywhere in the United States pretty easily in the secondary market. It just takes some finding them out there.
Stay away from the electronic ones, and then the mechanicals you can change the combos. But that's amazing, $700 tariffs. Resistance, I got a couple more. Resistance Spoon Mike Lewis super chat at $2. SD Bullion should make Star Wars Republic credits.
I don't know what that is.
Oh man. Get with it. Aren't you nerdy enough to know what a Republic credit is? Those things are awesome.
A single Star Wars movie.
Chase, dude, you got to binge. Well, at least the first three.
Crazy people get.
And the second three was and then don't watch the last. Okay. That's awesome. Really, that would be fun. A Star Wars Republic credit would be so cool. I would get some for little stacks in a heartbeat. Good idea, resistant spoon.
right.
Ron Navy again, super chat, another $5. Different states, including Florida, where I'm at, has come out with their own state goldbacks. Any thoughts on them? Want to talk about goldbacks?
Well, that's not state issued.
Good
Right?
point.
Yeah,
Good
that's
point.
your Florida didn't do that. That's literally just the Goldback made a Florida one. So maybe they'll make another. I'm sure Texas is on their list if they haven't done it yet.
Right.
I'm not overly familiar with it. It's not something I partake in personally. So I don't really know a ton about it, other than I know there is a lot of demand out there for it, but it's just not
Yeah.
something that I buy.
I love the concept. I'm a prepper and a prepper stacker. So I like the idea of a barter in trades with silver and gold outside of the system potentially. Not that I ever want to get there, but I would be able to if I needed to, right? And we have a rather robust bartering community in New Hampshire, guys. I
Of
don't know
course
if
you
you
do.
know
Live
that.
free or die. Yeah, yeah.
We do. We do. We have pockets of people that are constantly taking silver. And in fact, occasionally they'll actually price their goods and services in silver, if
Yeah.
you can imagine that, but not gold. Goldbacks also, I just don't like the high premiums on them. So I don't stack a lot of them. I think
The premiums are high, and for me, I just don't think they're
they're,
going to be
they're
used as
cool.
currency.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder. They do take them in
I mean,
some
just think
places,
about
but yeah.
counterfeiting, and yeah, we don't have to get into
They're
it.
cool. All right. Anyway, what 1 ounce silver should I buy? Says S. McDonald. Best 1 ounce silver buy.
Ooh,
What's
best
the best
1
one?
ounce silver
Yeah,
buy.
what's your best 1 ounce silver buy at SD Bullion?
Yeah, is it a new stacker? We don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
the 1 ounce Roaring Lion's a great buy right now. 2.5 year buying.
Yep.
Other than that, I think James would agree with me that right now, like if I'm buying 1 ounce silver, it's going to be the Silver Eagle, just because the premium's so low compared to where we've seen it in past times. So that's what I'm going to be buying up right now.
As well,
Other than that,
on the deals page, there's 1.5 ounce silver coins, and those are typically secondary coins that have been sold at too high a premium to someone earlier who sold it off to, and we get them in the
it
secondary
goes back
market.
to those IRA houses. That's where they all come from.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, those IRA houses. Oh, 1.5. I talked to my friend who was messed up, and he's like, "Well, they told me to buy all these 1.5ers." I'm like, "Oh my word!" So
Yeah.
you got these?
Oh, you always get these. You always get a tranche of these because eventually somebody goes from their IRA to sell back, millions of dollars worth of these, and then
That's how you get them.
then you can't sell them because it's a ripoff, right? It goes back to the whole ripoff story. They're selling you something that has no value for an extreme value,
Yep.
and then
They jack it up.
you get them on the secondary market, like James said, for a pretty good deal. So yeah, those will sell out pretty quickly just because the premium is always really nice for an RCM. It is still an RCM silver coin, which does matter to the market.
Yep.
For $1.29, great call out, James. That is a good deal for sure. The junk deal that we got to talk about.
Well,
that
I have
I
a question
brought back
here on
online
that. Can I just say here too? There was somebody said, Jim said, "Is SD Bullion planning to get more 90% silver? Seems to have big bags, but no small amounts. What can we do for Jim and others? What do we have here for 90%? I don't.
Yeah,
Not everybody
I'm
can
not
buy big
exactly
bags.
sure. We're extremely heavy in 90%, so I'm not exactly
Okay.
sure what he might be seeing.
Hmm.
And that's not a bad thing. We just, as you know, we carry a balance sheet of gold and silver. Most dealers
Mhm.
hedge it. We just buy it, and so we got a lot of junk silver right now. So that's what we opened up, that $5 face at spot.
Yeah, that was great.
It's a pretty good price point
How do I
for
get in
junk.
on that? So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
URL should I put up on my website here
Well, you're
or
gonna
on
have
my
to find
browser?
it. If you're on our email list, you can find it from last week's email, right? But if
Oh.
you're gonna have to, if you're not on our email list, you're gonna have to try to work for it here because I don't have a great way. But if you go to Silver Yankee and you go to
Okay.
90% junk silver,
So
and
I should hunt for this thing, right? All right. So
yeah,
silver,
hopefully it's fine.
90%,
Yeah, and
90% constitutional.
90% constitutional. And if you're on your desktop, it's on the second row there, that $5 face of dimes,
Yeah, yeah.
random, the green roll.
Uh-huh.
That specific one has to be
Yeah.
that specific one.
Okay.
Just go ahead and add it to your cart.
Oh, okay.
And
Boom.
you are sharing your screen, right?
I am. I am sharing
Okay,
it.
yeah.
Can I
Go
add
ahead
it
and add
without
it to your
logging in? You have no items.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Add it. Yep. Sorry.
Yep. Add it, and then when you're on your cart screen, just
Mm-hmm.
the cart screen where the coupon code right below the products, type in Yankee and hit apply and see what
So
happens.
go
See
to
if it works.
checkout.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Go to checkout. It'll take you to your cart page.
Yep. And then I'm in the cart. Apply discount code.
There you go.
Oh,
Put Yankee in
yes.
there and hit apply and see if it
Wait, wait,
works.
wait, 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 wait. Is it Yankee, all uppercase?
It shouldn't matter.
Okay, case insensitive. All right, apply discount.
Did it take any money off?
Yeah, it did. It took off the $8.49. That's awesome.
I still got it. I can still do these things.
You still can. Well, guys, there it
So
is.
we will, yeah,
There
we'll
it
let
is.
that roll for a day or two if people want to grab that for the spot price.
Don't tell anybody. Just everybody. We got
Yeah,
560.
don't go to Reddit.
I know,
Don't tell
right? No
Reddit.
Reddits. Just 560 people watching. I'm sure there's a bunch of people watching right now. They want that
Maybe
90%
somebody put the
deal.
link in the chat or something, but it's the
Okay.
$5 face
Yeah.
dimes.
Let me back
branded
up here. Here it is. The $5 face dimes. I'm sure mods are also helping me out, but I will put it in too just to make sure it gets in there. Boom. There it is. $5 face. Get it. And the promo code is Yankee.
Yankee.
Mine already come and get them. YankeeStacking got mine already. Come and get them. Nice. This is cool. I bought 2 rolls yesterday. Well, Brad, get another one. It's it's cheaper now, probably. Oh, that's cool. Thank you for that, Chase. That was totally unexpected. Did not know you were going to do that. But
Yep.
now you set a precedence. So
good inventory on that one.
you set a precedence for mastering metals. So
Yeah, right.
I'm telling you, man.
All right. Keep
few more here. What do you see about platinum over the next 6, 12, 18 months?
I think James has got James was down here at our Texas office this last week. Yankee, you still haven't come down to see us, but James and I spent 4 days together, and he had a lot to say about it. So I can't wait to hear him say it again.
So platinum on the long term is wedging right now, just under 1,000. So the low side is like 880, upside's 1,000 roughly. It's kind of in that range. Where's it at? 980 right now. It's possible platinum could run down toward 900 this summer. And that would be, probably the lowest it'll go. But once it breaks out of 1,000, it clears 1,200, it'll be off to the races. And I expect, you see it already in Asia. A lot of Chinese buyers and other Asian buyers are switching over to platinum, given the run in gold, and they're assuming that platinum is just a good value at a third the price of gold. And so yeah, it's going to be a little slower maybe in terms of its upside, but I do think it'll be good sort of value long term. I just have a conviction for platinum by the 2030s will be beyond 3,000 an ounce, I would think. So it's one of those things that it's just unique in all its elemental qualities, and it's just something that we have to have if we want to get, into the future and actually be able to do things in terms of going interplanetary and all the other things that we have hopes of. And just in terms of all its applications, there's just no way you can use anything else besides platinum in a lot of things. So it's one of those metals that's pretty rare, and it's pretty cheap right now considering where gold is.
Do you think it shoots up like palladium did, like kind of skyrockets and then comes and settles back down in the 2,500, 3,000 range?
I don't know. Like when you look at it, when it does this wedging on like a long term, like it did a wedging from like the late 1970s, it wedged down to the early 2000s. Yeah. And when it broke out, it shot up and it came back down, retested, and then it shot back up really well. And it basically ran from 400 up to 2,200. So it did, like a 5 or 6 bagger. So think in terms of if it does like a 1,000 to a 5,000 march by the 2030s, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah,
you'd have $5,000 platinum and gold at, I don't know, 5 figures somewhere. So, and then, gold will probably reset itself and be the anchor in the system, and platinum could run even higher and get closer to gold. I mean, at some point later in our lives, I still think parity with platinum and gold occurs, so.
Really?
I think. I mean,
parity. Wow.
Yeah, at some point again. It's only been recently that gold has had so much of a premium because it's resetting the system. But once the system's reset and we start moving along and moving into this new world, this new system that's set up, I expect platinum will run a lot more than gold.
Wow. Thank you for that. That's interesting. You mentioned Texas. Texas music drummer says maybe expansion in Texas. That's your corporate headquarters now, right?
Yeah, yeah, just our corporate headquarters. Yeah.
No
Not-
silver and gold.
yeah.
You got to go somewhere else for that.
Yeah.
And then, what is the most favorite silver in the IRA? Jay Hike wants to know.
The most famous silver, maybe the
Favorite?
most popular.
No. What
Oh.
is the most favorite? What do people put in their IRAs for silver? What?
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it the eagle?
You know,
Maple?
yeah, just make sure it's bullion, right? That's
mhm.
what's beautiful about buying an SD bullion IRA is you can pretty much buy, and because we control the depository, you can pretty much buy whatever you want to buy, minus junk silver. Junk silver doesn't meet the purity guidelines, but other than that, if you like bars, you can buy bars. You like rounds, buy rounds. You like coins, buy coins. So it's kind of whatever the person wants to. That's the beauty of it.
I want the Yankee Tim round.
Yeah.
And they're asking in the chat. They're
Yankee Tim
asking in the Q&A that when was it going to be? When is it going to be produced? When will SD Bullion be? It's coming, guys. It's coming.
Nothing ever happens as quickly as you wanted.
I can't believe you're doing this. This means a lot to me, and I think the design is awesome. It's epic. I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, wait till you see a proof. It's going to be better than Christmas. That's always the fun part.
The
when you see the first
proof? Oh, I will
Well,
definitely.
I'm saying like the when you get you
Oh,
got to
yeah.
approve
You approve
when
the
you actually-
proof, right? Yep. Would it make sense to trade a gold? Here it is. I knew there had to be a trade question. I knew it. There always is. Would it make sense to trade a gold 1 ounce coin for silver?
It really depends on where you are. Like some people need more gold allocation because they're a little later in life and they don't need the price volatility and the swinging as much as silver will do.
Mm-hmm.
If you're younger and you have a little bit more time and patience and you have a lot of gold allocation, I think it's fine. I mean, when you have a gold silver spot ratio above 100, historically, that's pretty rare. And so if you look out 5-10 years from now, it would be very surprising to not see it run back toward its longer term ratio of 60 or below. And I ultimately think that 2011 low of low 30s is going to get bypassed in a silver mania. So, but you have to have a 5-10 year time frame with that kind of view and that type of patience. So
it's a long
consider
game.
it all.
It takes a while.
It's a long game.
I have one for you, Chase, and one for you, James. Chase, what do you think of CAC versus NGC versus PCGS?
Personally,
is CAC? Rob wants to know if CAC really is all that.
it's not all that for me. I just haven't seen adoption yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I would stick with NGC and PCGS. I have seen some really expensive collectibles that are NGC or PCGS that have the CAC. CAC also went in there and approved it, and those can go for big money. But in general, if you're sending off to grading, my recommendation would be stick with one of the two majors. That CAC just hasn't taken market share yet, from what I can see. I don't think we even sell anything CAC on our website, so that should tell you.
Mm-hmm. So, Welly, James, you've talked about silver going higher when it's viewed as a monetary metal, not just industrial metal. What will drive that shift, and what signs are you looking for? This monetary metal adoption of silver.
So I think we have to see what happens the second half of this year. I'm guessing at some point they're going to continue having to cut rates, and they're going to have to do QE again at some point. To do buying of their own debt, and that's my expectation. Is that when you start to see that occur, you'll see silver start to gap up and outperform gold, and so it's just waiting on that inevitability.
Yep, I agree. Frank wants to know how hot CPI will come in tomorrow and how that's going to affect precious metals. Do you think
that's always hard to say. I mean, I don't really like to guess on the CPI as much because I don't find it being really factual as it is. They basically print whatever they want.
I call it the CP lie.
Yeah.
It's awful. All right. Well, it's 9:30 Eastern. I think we are going to need to wrap this up, guys. It's been a lot of fun. I hopefully got all the key questions I could get in. I never get them all done, so I apologize for those who really wanted a question answered. You can definitely email me if you have a question at YankeeStacking@gmail.com. And wait a minute, I did see it. One last super chat, or did I see two? 28 Baby Shark super chat $2. What silver rounds is best to buy closest to spot? I think we covered that earlier. but thank you for the $2 super chat there. And I bought a tube of this was Ron Navy super chatted $20. Thank you, Ron. He said, I bought a tube of the new Scottsdale Mint 2-ounce rounds, along with some gold and Rifleman 5-ounce coin. Nice.
Wow.
I got email today. You all shipped it. I'm excited to get them. Yankee, you rock. I started stacking recently because now I'm blushing. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ron. I actually have a box down here with the stuff that I've bought over the last 4.5 months or 5 months now from SD Bullion. I'm going to do a video on it's sort of like an old-fashioned unboxing. I'm going to reset where I've been throughout this year so far and where I'm going to be going from this point on. So I'll be sharing some of the things that I'm targeting, both gold and silver for my stack. More coming on that. But guys, thank you.
That's cool. Yeah, I would say to the last super chat. So once you bought the 2-ounce stacker, you clearly like the Scottsdale stuff, which you're gonna love to see in hand. They make the best stuff in the market for sure. But we're gonna have Josh Fair on a Silver Pros coming up.
Yes.
Whenever we get the 1-ounce, the 5-ounce, and the 2-ounce Silver Eagle stackers done, I'm going to have him. We're going to do a live where we can have him explain it all from Scottsdale.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, whoever the last super chat was, if you're not coming to Silver Pros, make sure you tune into Silver Pros so you can meet the owner of Scottsdale and get to talk about the coins that you bought. It's going to be super cool.
All right, so I did get a note from here in the chat. Rhonda Hall, the code's not working. I put the link in again.
Yeah.
You witnessed me do it.
Yeah.
I did do all uppercase. I tried again, Rhonda. Sorry, it did work for me.
I tested it.
Clear your cache. Try it again.
You can write in. Yeah, if you can't get to work, you can write in at sales at SD Bullion, and we can look into your account and see. I used the same little technical background. I used the same cart price roll we call it. So if you already got that promo, that could be the
Oh, that's interesting. Well, Carbone 239 said it works. R Scott 1220 said works for me. J Hike said worked. KTM it works. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. And then Low Country also said code worked for me. That's great. I'm glad you guys enjoyed coming and listening at Mastering Metals. Thanks to the expertise of Chase and James. Guys, have a great night, and we'll see you next month on Mastering Metals.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for having us.